Hey Michelle, you probably don't remember me, but my name is Carrie, and in 2008 I waited in the pouring rain at UCLA to see you speak on behalf of your husband's presidential campaign. And he wasn't there, but you came armed with a whole celebrity brigade. You had Carolyn Kennedy, you had Oprah, you had Stevie Wonder playing the harmonica, and you yourself were quite the star. You were so well dressed, so sophisticated, so empowered, so well spoken about the principles and righteousness of your husband. I was in the front row screaming like a Justin Bieber fan, and I invested so much time and money in your husband's campaign and all of his promises. And even though I completely do not support him whatsoever in any way ever at all anymore, I was thinking that since I was such a loyal supporter and got him elected to the White House in part by voting for him in 2008, that you could just take one little message, do one little favor for me, and really the rest of the world, because I think they might agree with my request. And I know that you're super busy taking your daughters to Beyonce concerts and taking selfies of yourself with that weird Portuguese water dog on the White House lawn to send to a tabloid so that they can do a full-page spread on the dog's life. I mean, I know you do really important things, like your Let's Get Moving campaign that's supposed to teach kids to eat healthy, even though your husband appointed Monsanto to control the food supply still. I mean, it's kind of a counterbalance, but there's one program that I found very interesting. It's called Joining Forces, and you sponsored it with Mrs. Biden to make sure that military families were helped and aided because they really endure a lot because of America's perpetual war. And this is especially for the children. So to my point, it's clear that you care about children, and you're clearly a loving mother, an empowered woman who doesn't just stick to fluff projects like Let's Get Moving. I mean, you told your husband not to go to war with Syria, so you clearly have some sway. And I was just thinking you could tell your husband to stop murdering children in the Middle East, because it sort of has a bad effect. I mean, you just met with that 16-year-old Pakistani girl who got shot in the head by the Taliban, and she wanted to talk about to you and your husband and your daughter about how those drone strikes somehow inspire terrorism. And so I think it would be really cool if you could just tell him to tell his Joint Special Operations Command that's responsible for the deaths of a lot of innocent people and children and men just because they're 18 years old and in the wrong geographical location. They could make it stop. So think of how much power you have, Michelle. I mean, they report directly to the White House. So just tell your husband, let him know. And then two other things. Next time you do an interview with Vogue, maybe you could tell the American people what's happening with all of these murdered children and all the spying and all the violence and corruption, because I mean, more people are probably going to pay attention to your Vogue story than they are the actual news. And if you could just get together a really quick campaign of your celebrity friends to make a video about all of the suffering children around the world at the hands of your husband, that would be fantastic, because they were super down to make one about the Sandy Hook tragedy, and way fewer children died there than your husband has killed. So do that, keep up your great fashion sense, the tabloids are loving it, and take care. Thanks, Michelle.